Alright, so there's some insane allegations regarding FaZe Clan now, where FaZe Rain is accusing FaZe Temperrr of being, well, a PDF file. And FaZe Banks also responded to that situation. And basically this all started when FaZe Rain said that FaZe Clan had a PDF file in it and nobody was speaking up about it, and he was just really unhappy with that situation. And so people started speculating who it was, and one of those people was FaZe Banks. People were speculating that, is he talking about FaZe Banks here? And so then FaZe Banks responded to this, and for this clip, just know that Norden is FaZe Rain and Tommy is FaZe Temperrr. Alright, so let's watch this clip.
First thing I'm going to say in this video is I'm not a out. Rain is not talking about me. There, I got it out. It's a very heavy accusation. It's a life-shattering, life-altering accusation, and that's why it's so heavy. Got a phone call about a year ago from FaZe Rain, or a text rather. He's kind of going off just about all the reasons why he's upset with FaZe, hates FaZe, doesn't with FaZe, and he brings up that somebody's a nobody gives a nobody wants to talk about it. I'm like, what the are you talking about? Call him. He's like, Banks, don't play dumb. We talked about this before. I'm like, Norden, pause. You're saying that FaZe Temperrr is a pedophile, which that is who he's talking about in the clip. And there's a story and we're going to get into it. I'm like, whoa, that's Tommy. That's our brother. This is who we started this FaZe with. I'm calling him. That was the first thing I said. I'm calling him and I'm calling Apex, because apparently this is something Apex is aware of as well. Norden and Tommy, or Norden and Apex are the closest on the team. So obviously if Norden's going to talk to anybody about anything and be transparent, it's Apex. So I patched Tommy and Apex in the call immediately, and we sit on this phone call and we talk for a long time. We were on the phone probably for at least an hour, maybe even 2 hours on the phone talking about this. And Tommy's first initial knee-jerk reaction to all this shit was, what the are you talking about? Norden, no, this is not what the conversation was like. You're misremembering, you're misinterpreting. Obviously, Rain is coming back, standing firm on the fact that, no, you did say this. I do believe that you did this, whatever. This conversation I'm describing to you guys is a phone call from a year ago, but Tommy and FaZe Rain had a conversation between themselves years ago. I might be misremembering it, but I think it was 3-4 years ago they talked about this, and that's how long these guys have been sitting on that for. So this gets brought up years later. It's obviously a very heavy accusation. Yeah, what can you do in that situation? The way we left that phone call off was, let's get to the bottom of this, let's handle it. I mean, Rain's talking about making videos, Rain's talking about this, and nobody's telling him not to. I mean, obviously Tommy's like, bro, this isn't true, you're gonna ruin my life.
Alright, so yeah, as you just saw right there, FaZe Banks clearly states, I'm not the person that's being talked about here, it's not me. And he mentions how the person that actually was being talked about was FaZe Temperrr. And in that clip, he was mentioning him as Tommy. So FaZe Banks says that what happened was that FaZe Temperrr and FaZe Rain had a phone call many years ago. And in that phone call, FaZe Temperrr told FaZe Rain that he took two 16-year-old girls back to his hotel room. Now, I'm not gonna get into the details, but yeah, you get what I'm talking about here, right? So apparently that happened, and then after that, what happened was that, then, as you saw in the clip, there was that big phone call with many different FaZe Clan members, and in that, FaZe Temperrr kept saying that, hey, you're misremembering, and this isn't what I actually said. Meanwhile, FaZe Rain kept saying that, hey, no, actually, this is what you said, and I do believe you did this and all that. And so now let's take a look at a clip of FaZe Rain talking about this situation. In the beginning, he opens with talking about what FaZe Temperrr said to him. So let's check this out.
This dude looks me in my eyes and says, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I had two 16-year-olds. I'm like, bro, what? Like, how could you tell me that after I'm telling you the 3 rules I have to why I'll never have your back as a friend? On my mother's heartbeat, that's what he said. He looked me in the eyes and he said that. I told Banks and I told Apex immediately. I even told Lee Trink. I have texts with Lee Trink from then. It was right before everything blew up with the SPAC and FaZe went public and whatnot. And he dropped me off home and we haven't talked since. That's why you guys are always like, bro, why don't you play CS with him? Why don't you play this with him? I don't want to say it, bro. I feel bad. I feel bad. I know it's wrong. I know what he did is wrong, but I just hope people can understand like what it's like to have somebody you've known for half your life that you love, that you hope that your kids would have been friends and shit like that. Like, I don't know. It made me sad, bro. It broke my heart. I didn't even want to bring this up, Banks. I did it. I didn't even want to bring your name up in this, bro. But you made that video. I don't know if we're about to watch it in a little bit, but it's just, you lied in that video. You're making shit up. Bro, even that tweet that you posted under, I screenshotted in case you deleted it because I just don't trust you, bro. And I don't trust what you said there. You said some at the end of that tweet. What'd you say? You said, here, I'll pull it up here. Like you said, call concluded and Tommy didn't admit to it. Yes, he did.
Alright, so yeah, overall, FaZe Rain is just talking about how shocked he was when FaZe Temperrr apparently said this to him, and how things just haven't been the same ever since. And he also pushes back against what FaZe Banks said, and says that, hey, you know, that's not accurate, like the way that FaZe Banks was putting the situation, you know, that wasn't accurate. So very clearly, you know, he's definitely like standing by what he said. Now real quick, I'd just like to say that I'm giving out shoutouts on this channel to people who subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment letting me know that they subscribed. If you do that, then in the next video, I'll give you a shoutout. Now anyway, back to the video. Alright, so now let's take a look at a clip of FaZe Temperrr talking about this situation.
My private life is being aired out for public entertainment, and I'm being forced into an impossible situation. So now, one day my children are gonna see this video, and they're gonna know about the type of person that I was before I met their mother. And let's just start at the top. So a lot of what Norton was saying of the type of person that I was is true, not all of it. I was a reckless kid. I was very misguided. I was in and out of relationships. And I didn't know any better, right? And so one day, I met Emma, and Emma was the love of my life. Like this, I fell in love with this girl, and I wanted to marry this girl, and I never had wanted to marry anybody before that. I never wanted to get married. And I was just blown away. So this is the girl that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with, but because of all the baggage that I had and all the shit that I went through and just the person that I was, I pushed her away. You know, she did not want to be with me, and she ended things, and that broke me and sent me into a dark place. Soon after that, I was just that lost soul again, going to parties, partying, and just being a fool. And then one day I go to New York, and I go to this club that's 21 plus, and I link up with a buddy there, and he invites a couple girls, and I end up going back with these girls. We're all shit-faced, and I end up going back with these girls to my hotel room. I slept with one of them, and I found out after that this girl was 17. And that's the age of consent in New York. But regardless, I was sick to my stomach. It was just extremely uncomfortable knowing that and thinking about the situation. And that was it. And so shortly after that, or however long after that, Emma and I got back together, and you know, I was fully working on myself and becoming a better man. And
Alright, so here FaZe Temperrr talks about this like dark period in his life where, you know, he was like going off the rails and all that, and you know, he was like partying like crazy and stuff. And you know, that's where the situation comes in, where, you know, he was in New York, and you know, there was this club which was supposed to be 21 plus, and that's where he met those two girls that are being talked about in this situation. And you know, he confirms that he did in fact go back to his hotel room with them, but the thing here is that he says that he only got with one of them. And so, you know, that's like the first difference in how the story is being explained, where, you know, before you had FaZe Rain saying that, you know, he was with both of them, and then now here he says just one of them. And then the other thing is that instead of her being 16 years old, he says that she was actually 17. And, he mentions how that's the age of consent in New York. So he's basically making this argument that, in terms of the law, he didn't do anything illegal. But at the same time, he is, expressing regret over the situation. So, he is saying that he didn't do anything illegal, but at the same time, he's not saying that, what he did was just okay. He's still expressing regret. And so, yeah, at this point, now we have like two different explanations of what happened. One which was like, it was both the girls and they were 16. And then the other one is that it was actually just one of them and she was 17. And, when you're in situations like this, if you kind of notice that like somebody is like a lot younger and you're an adult like this, which he was at the time, then you gotta make sure, you gotta like, I don't know, like check ID or something, like just make sure you're actually dealing with somebody who you understand like what's their age. Had he just done that, the whole situation could have been avoided. But yeah, this is like another crazy thing related to FaZe Clan that's happened recently. And this is in addition to that thing where you had the FaZe Clan crypto situation involving Aiden Ross. And now we have this. And so yeah, FaZe Clan right now, of course, because of this, it's not going through a very good period, you could say. So yeah, let's see where things go. Right now things aren't looking too good for FaZe Clan. I still remember like back in the day, they were just absolutely massive on the internet and stuff. And they're still around, of course, but I guess, now they're definitely having a lot more problems. But hey, those were just my thoughts on the situation. And now I'm interested in hearing what you have to say down in the comments below. So leave a comment letting me know what you think and we can have a discussion down there. And with all that being said, guys, this is Alexi signing out.